I was always writing. No, I was not, my major in school was politics government with a minor in literature, but it was all about getting a job to pay the apartment rent. So I had put myself through school partially by working as a legal secretary. So I pursued that avenue as a legal secretary and then as a paralegal to pay the bills. And then I wrote, that was my relaxation. I wrote poetry very badly. I wrote essays, again, not so hot. I wrote short stories, I wrote novellas, just for my own amusement. I think I found out later that Toni Morrison said, you know, you write the stories that aren't out there yet, the ones that you would like to read. And that's what I was doing unknowingly. So there was a long trail of manuscripts and folders full of horrible stories of poetry that came before the point where I picked up a paperback book because I was a voracious reader. I still am. And picked this book up, finished it, and thought, well, if this can get published, maybe I can get published. And that's how it started. It was a case first. The character was Shelia Williams, who had had the day from hell. No gas in the car, hardly at all. Taking the kids to school and daycare, and the little one in the back seat says, "Mommy, my stomach hurts," and you know what happens from there on. Getting to work, finding out there's a meeting you didn't know there was, then they're going to reorganize the department, and you're going to report to somebody who knows about 20% of what you know, and it just went downhill from there. And I vividly remember calling my husband and asking him if he would pick up the kids, you know, that night. And he said, sure, what time will you be home? And I was like 2-3 months, you know, because I had just had it. It was one of those days. Of course, I could not just pack a bag and, you know, leave. So I let Juanita go instead. And I started writing about a woman who had just been fed up, different circumstances than my own, but that feeling is universal. We all have one of those days where you feel you just can't do it anymore and you're just going to pack a bag and go. And so I let her take that journey. And I traveled with her, and she's taken me places I had no idea I would go. It sort of crept up on me. I wasn't really thinking about her as, this is my book. I thought I was going to write fantastic romance novels. Trust me, I write terrible romance novels, but that's what I thought. Juanita was just sort of she was my sister. She was right at my elbow. And I'm thinking, oh, if I could run away from home, how would I do it? What would I do? And where would I go? And I just started from there. And then all of a sudden, you're 50 pages in and the character is very alive, and you realize, oh, I'm not going to be writing a traditional romance novel. This is something else. And so I just kept going. I took Juanita on the journey. I was traveling with her, so I had no idea. There's the diner with this weird name. She opens the door. There's a guy standing, behind a counter. He turns around and there he is. There's Jess. It was literally like I was living it myself. The diner was just a million neighborhood places that I had been in, where everybody knows everybody, and it's not fine dining. It's just, you want something to eat, although Paper Moon Diner has, a little evolution to undergo. But it really was very intuitive and very spontaneous. Now, I will tell you that at a book club that I participated in some years ago, I got into a discussion with a woman who swore that I had used a diner that was actually in Montana, in a small town that she was very familiar with. And I tried to tell her, no, I didn't. She said, no, I know that's the diner because I've been there and it's exactly the way you described it. So I don't know, maybe I channeled this diner or something, but that's how it came to be. And all of the characters, literally, when Juanita meets them, that's the moment that I meet them.